And welcome back and Happy New Year here back on Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory here with Chris Brinkley. Hope everyone had a happy holidays, and we are back here ready to talk some UT Martin sports. We've got track and field starting this week at Vanderbilt this weekend on Friday and then on Saturday, and then men's and women's basketball still in conference play, and they hit the road to take on Western Illinois on Thursday, and then they will battle Lindenwood on Saturday. And both games on the road, both games you can listen to on the Skyhawk Sports Network. Track and field, make sure to keep up to date with all of their live results as well. Chris, track and field full swing. We have head coach Jolyta Henderson here to talk with her, and then also Jeremy Shulman joining us today to talk a little bit of men's basketball. They went 1-1 on the week, as well as the women's team did. So UT Martin, we're starting to get back into a swing of things. School about to start, and we get a lot of our athletes back. It's just a good time.
Yeah, and it's good to be back at Zaxby's too.
Yes.
Here on the gang on Monday. So let's get it going.
And we'll go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we will have head coach of the UT Martin track and field team, Jolyta Henderson, joining us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And we're back here at Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory with Chris Brinkley. Now join us, head coach of the UT Martin track and field team, Jolyta Henderson, as UT Martin starts the season this weekend at Vanderbilt in Nashville. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, too, and thank you for having me. I haven't seen y'all in a
I
while.
know.
Since last year, you know?
Let me,
It's
you
been
know,
since
you
last
have
year.
such a warm, bubbly personality. What do you like holidays?
Actually,
Oh no,
really?
I'm not a big holiday person at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
I try. Like this year, I actually tried. Like I actually did a whole tree. My mom didn't come decorate it. I did it myself.
Yeah.
Really?
Decorated the house and stuff. But like,
Yeah.
no, it's just normal days to me.
Okay.
honestly.
Yeah. But I mean, you're pretty busy usually as a coach
Yes.
during that.
Yes, there's
So-
no break.
What'd your tree look like?
It's blue. It was blue, white, and silver, which are like my favorite colors. Besides black, she said black is you can't put that on the tree. Whatever.
It's
so,
your
yeah.
tree, though.
I know it's
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want.
In your entire life, what was one of your favorite Christmas presents that you ever got?
Okay. Oh my goodness. So not necessarily a Christmas present. So one year, a bad storm and stuff came through like West Tennessee, and it knocked out a lot of houses, a lot of like trailers and stuff like that. And it was the year we actually didn't get presents for Christmas. My dad put us in the car and we drove around, and we went to like this trailer park area, stuff like that. That was like completely wiped away. He was like, "Thank God for like the house that you live in." You know, and then like we went to like a couple other like areas that didn't have much. It was like, you know, thank God for, you know, the jobs that your parents have, the money and stuff that we have and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was a big eye opener, such a young age, because you always like, oh, it's Christmas, like you get presents. But this time it was like, you know, the real meaning of like why we do this and what's it for and stuff like that. And then we went home and we played Deal or No Deal.
Oh.
Yes, like real life Deal or No Deal. My mom and dad put it together. So
How
that was
cool
That's
is
really
that?
good.
And of
Yeah.
all the memories, that one is not
Yes.
only one that stands out, it's a good memory.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
That's fantastic. That's great. Well, cross country season ended about November. What's been going on from then until now?
Oh, just training.
Just
training, getting ready for this weekend, opening up. We decided not to do a meet in December this year, just to give cross a little bit more of a break, and then also the way our school schedule is with our finals, it kind of messed that up a little bit. So I was like, you know what, focus on school. We'll come back in January, hit it hard and stuff. Also, track season is longer this year. We usually stay at school a week longer. Now it's 2 weeks longer than what we did before.
Is that a good thing?
Sure, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it does make for a really long season. So now we're here as long as baseball. So
But it
that's
may
fine.
change the way you coach a little.
It does,
Yeah.
because you don't want them to get burnt out as fast and stuff like that. So you try to slow it down a little bit more and not get them to peak as quickly as they normally would.
Yeah.
So
And I was going to ask you about that. Had a meet last year in December. I think that one was Southern Illinois, or it was Southern Illinois or Vanderbilt.
yeah, Saluki Fast.
Yeah,
Start is
and
usually
so
where we go.
had that one in December, and then but no meet, like you said, in this December. Is that a good thing for you? Because I know you kind of get a viewpoint of like, okay, here's where we are right before break, and you kind of knock some rust off, but
Yeah.
then it builds back up
Yeah.
too right before you get started. So, do you like kind of that start in December, or would you rather prefer to get it
I
going in
would
January?
much rather have a meet in December. I would, just to give them something to like work towards. Just track doesn't really do anything all the fall semester but train, whereas cross country, like they've been going to meets and seeing how, you know, how they're done, how they're progressing. for track, it just gives them something to look forward to before they go off home for Christmas.
Is training difficult in extreme heat or extreme cold? Which is more
Cold.
difficult? Cold is worse.
Cold.
Yeah.
Cold is terrible.
Which is what we're going to deal with here.
Yes.
Yeah, for the next little while.
It's nice.
Had some
It's not. Don't look
flurries,
at me.
yeah.
It's not my fault. I promise. I have
No,
nothing to
it's
do with
fine.
it. Yeah.
It's fine.
Had some flurries this morning. And everything. We're gonna ask. Coach Shulman about that because he's just was from Florida.
Yeah.
And then coming up here, and then now it's
Yeah.
wind chill was. I think it was 7 degrees this morning. Feels
That's
like a 7.
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
no, and especially when it was 40 last week too.
Mhm.
So whatever. Anywho, back to track and field. So 6th season for you as head coach now with the
Yes.
pro. Does it feel like it's the 6th year?
Yes.
It does.
Yes. I've been here for 9 years now.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. Like, this is my first job, my only job, and I've been here for so long. And I'm just seeing the growth and going back and coming to like where I am now. It's like, dang, did I really do that?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you did. And to your credit, you wanted to grow and get better,
hmm
and you have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's a choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if we asked you this one in the fall, but I love asking people these questions if they've been a head coach here for a long time or been a part of UT Martin, an athlete for maybe 6 years or whatever it may be. What's one thing first-year Jolyta would need to hear from 6-year Jolyta?
Oh.
Ooh, that is a good question. Trust yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Trust yourself. I did it my first year of coaching, first couple years, which I mean it's understandable, like but I questioned everything I did as if I was just completely wrong, and it's like something. Somebody trusted you to be in this position.
Mhm.
Somebody trusted you to lead this team. Why are you questioning yourself so much? If they have faith and they believe in you, why can't you believe in yourself? So yeah.
Yeah. But that the trust in yourself comes from confidence and
Yes.
from success and
Yes.
trusting yourself, which builds.
Mhm.
So you're a different person now.
Yes, completely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And last season, I mean, multiple podium finishes in both indoor and then outdoor, and then shattered multiple school records across the board. What'd you learn from last year's group in that season?
From last year's group, I learned from them that I needed to be a different coach, if that made sense. Understanding that there is a line between, okay, yes, you're good, you're really good, but I can't allow you to slip through the cracks on some of the things that you do. But it's like, oh, but you're really good, so I need to keep you, like, stuff like that. It's, no, we're going to have a certain culture. This is what we're going to build. This is what it's going to be, and this is how it's going to stay. And it doesn't matter how good you are or whatever you do, or it doesn't matter. This is what it's going to be. Yeah.
And
So
when that
that-
comes from a place of love, the
Mhm.
person you're disciplining or
Yes.
helping will understand it.
Yes.
Because ultimately it's for them, not you. Well,
Yes.
it benefits everyone, but it's for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was really hard. Like last year, I will say, because of the choices that I've made to my team, there was a lot of backlash from my team because people were upset at the choices that I decided to. But overall, it made the team better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And getting into now this season, what are some expectations you have for this group? Again, bring back a lot of, Rita Eimer, I feel like we talked about her every single
That's
episode
all the
last
time.
year.
Girl on fire.
Because she was on fire
Yes.
last season. And what are your expectations though for this group and going into this season?
This season is going to be very interesting. When I say interesting, I mean interesting. We have people coming back for their last year. Chadwick, Janae, Samir. This is it for them. And so it's like, let's leave it all on the track. So they're hungry. They're trying to do that. But then I have some really, really amazing freshmen that have come in that are like, they're going to shock the OVC. We'll see what happens. Like Eliana, obviously you'll talk to her today. Very talented young lady. She doesn't even know how good she is. And then I have Cameron Shade. This kid is so lost. He doesn't understand anything, but when you see him run, it's like, oh, well, you don't have to understand. All you gotta do is just, can you run straight? That's all I need you to do. Yeah, so it's gonna be very
Just run
interesting.
straight and run fast.
Yeah, no,
There you go.
facts.
That's the message.
That's
the
exciting.
message.
So a high ceiling, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I won't put that on them.
Yeah.
That's just internal and with the coaching staff, but the team won't ever.
Yeah.
They won't ever see that. Yeah.
How has training been here getting ready for this new campaign?
Training has been good so far. My assistant Shayla, she was a GA. She's still a GA, but I trusted her with the whole group herself. So I got all jumps and multis, and long sprint people, so they get more of my attention. So I've challenged them to do a lot more than what they've done before, and they've embraced it the whole entire time. And they've just eaten up my training, and so I'm excited to see what they do.
Good.
Coming out of this group, what's one thing that's sticking out to you?
Truthfully, my jumps. Jumps is I see a lot with them the way that they've been doing stuff. So I'm very excited about what they do.
And cross country finished with a great season. We talked about them a lot in this past semester. How do you look for them to extend their performances to the track and field portion of this year?
So for them indoor, I'm not going to say it's difficult, but it's different from you have a course, you just run out, you're outside, all that stuff, have fun. Indoor is what I like to call recycled air. Everybody's in one building breathing the same stuff. So it is harder for a distance runner for indoor. So it is a challenge for them, and it's just, making sure that they are strong enough to be able to get through their races and stuff. I mean, it's a 200-meter track. It's not very fun when you have to go 25 laps.
Quick question on indoor. You're always indoor, but every facility is different. So what are you looking for as an athlete?
So ideally, distance runners probably like 300-meter tracks, but for NCAAs and for conference championships, it's on a bank track, a 200-meter bank track. So it's like a bowl. It goes up like that. And for a sprinter, you run really, really fast on it. We like that better than a flat track.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How do you train on? How do you prepare for that?
How do we prepare for that? Well, we just run wherever we can.
Yeah.
We just run wherever we can.
Run down to Walmart and run back.
Well, you control what you can control.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're ready for anything that's thrown at you.
Yeah.
Because outdoor, anything can be thrown at you.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing about our team. We may not have what everybody else has as far as like facilities wise and stuff like that, but that makes us so much better because it's like, hey, you just trained outside in 20-degree weather and you had an amazing workout. What is going into this building with heat and air?
Yeah.
Perfectly
It's almost
fine,
like
no
your
wind.
it's like your Christmas memory. It's be grateful for what we have, and then when we're in this situation, let's just do what we do. Yeah, that's why Deal or No Deal was your best Christmas present. No, really,
Definitely
no.
was.
I mean, and that's the blessing in looking at what you have and not what you don't have. Yeah.
So, last question. First meet expectations. I know you call the first meet and also for cross country too the Rust Buster. And what are some expectations for your group as you all head to Vanderbilt this weekend?
So it will be a Rust Buster. It's not on the schedule, but we are going to Vandy and we're going to SEMO. It's gonna be a long weekend. So we're going to Vandy for 2 days, and then I have another group that's going to SEMO on just Saturday, just to get in some more work, some more training. We'll see what happens. It's not there is no like I don't expect anybody to break a school record or anything like that. If they do, then I need to fix my training because they're running way too fast right now. But it's just, let's just see where you're at. What did you do over winter break? Let's have fun with it because our schedule is actually really tough this year.
Oh yeah, and our goal, Chris and I's goal for you. I know you talked about it last year. You don't eat really anything.
Yeah.
You gotta eat some this weekend, Coach. You gotta listen. This is gonna be.
Yes.
You know
what's crazy? I haven't eaten at all today.
What? You got your name on the
I haven't
list
eaten
up there.
since yesterday
Look at
at
all
12
that
o'clock.
energy and happiness that
I
you
have
have.
to.
Yeah.
Running on vibes.
Yeah,
I tell you
facts,
what,
we
running
are.
on vibes.
We are
I
running on
love
vibes
it.
right
I
now.
love it. That needs to be a slogan. I want that on a shirt
Running
now.
on vibes.
Running on vibes.
Davis
might
and
be our
I ate
t-shirt.
enough for all of us that are in here.
That is true. We did. We did. Well, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck here this weekend. We'll talk to you throughout the rest of this
Thank
year.
you so much.
Thank
Go ahead and take a break and keep it right here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
Welcome back to Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory here with me. Chris Brinkley now joining us, head coach of the UT Martin men's basketball team. Jeremy Shulman. Skyhawks go 1-1 on the week and highlighted by a big win over SEMO, previously undefeated at 3-0 in the conference. Coach, first before we get to anything, it's about 20 degrees outside. Feels like it was 7. You're not in Florida anymore, are you, Coach?
You already took my joke. I was ready to use that to start off the podcast. But I woke up this morning, went outside, and I was like, wow, it's a little different here.
Welcome back to Tennessee.
Yes, absolutely.
Welcome back to Tennessee.
I like it. I told my wife, I like it. I mean, I've dealt with just amazing, beautiful weather for 14 years, just incredible beach weather for 14 years. I mean, you just get tired of it. No, I'm just
boring.
kidding.
It's boring. No, it's
But this
No,
is
but
Matt.
it's nice having seasons. I actually really do like it. I haven't had a winter in a long time.
Yeah.
I like it. I've got some nice coats for Christmas for my wife. I get to wear that, and I love it.
Now, you are dressed differently today. You still look like a basketball coach, but you're dressed warm.
Yes. I can do this, and I can't do this in Florida. So I actually do like it. I like the season. I like the change in weather. So I'm enjoying it.
What about the players? Have you had players that hadn't experienced snow or anything like that?
It's a good question.
They'll see a lot
I know
of it
until
on
last year.
Thursday.
So, like our kid from Puerto Rico, I know he had not. I'm now assuming, because we talked about that last year with him, but now assuming like Grullon, but I bet he has. I mean, he's got tons of family in New York and a lot of close people in New York. So I would say probably most of our guys have at this point, but it's interesting. I haven't really asked every single player on there. Maybe even like Lamine, who Lamine's from Senegal, went to high school in Orlando, and then went to first 2 years of college in California. I bet this is this is a shock to him.
What is happening?
No wonder he looked really weird at film today.
That's what it was.
He's like, what is going on?
That's exactly. But how does your wife like being in the colder weather now? And then your kids too, because I guess your kids haven't ever been outside of Florida. So what do they think about this?
Well, a little different opinions there. I think Evie really does like the warmer weather.
Okay.
I'm telling her every day, I'm like, I like this. I like the cold. I like it. And she goes, yeah, sure. Now, my kids on the opposite side, they love it. They love it because it's so different. They've never experienced anything like that. Now, I say they love it. They're also cold as can be because they don't know what to do with this cold weather. But they love it. And I left early this morning to get to work and get on some work and some film and everything. And so I sent a picture of some snow that was on the ground and on my car and on the roof, and I sent it to my wife and kids because I left before they were awake. And they were so excited. Yeah, they were so excited. I mean,
and then they came out, and it was just like a light dusting. It was like,
No, for that's a snowstorm.
That's exactly right.
That's what I love about you is your joyous attitude for life. I mean, not just basketball, but for cold weather, hot weather, whatever comes at you, I think you're going to accept it and smile about it.
Well, I appreciate it. I try. I try. That's something important to me, and it's genuine. Like I absolutely love this.
Yes,
I really like that.
But we talked about it a little bit in the post game. Joy is a choice. I mean,
it is.
You can really be the victim and feel sorry for yourself in circumstances in any part of life. And you are just, and it shows with what your team did the other night. After facing some adversity, you just smile and just keep moving forward.
I appreciate it.
And work hard. For
sure. And hopefully our guys follow my lead somewhat on that. But because it is hard, I think we've had a very successful season so far.
Oh, yeah.
It's so successful. And but just to see, so many of those games in heartbreaking fashion go the wrong way.
Yeah.
It could have broken a lot of teams. And our guys, we're getting stronger from it. We really are. And we're reframing our minds on some things. And so we're getting better. I mean, it doesn't guarantee anything going forward, obviously, but it's exciting where we are with this team, and I can just see it. I can feel it with this team. So it's exciting.
Yeah, and as you said, I'll shut up after this. It could have broken a lot of teams. No, it could have broken a lot of coaches.
Yeah.
And that's the point. I mean, I think the team takes on the personality of the leader, and through it all, as disappointed as you were, you still were optimistic and joyous. So. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. It means a lot. It really does. So thank you for noticing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, UT Martin goes 1-1 on the week, 2-2 now in conference play. And Coach, going to Thursday, Little Rock, such a talented team, the preseason conference favorite. And then after that Thursday, tough loss there, but then bounce back with a win against SEMO. Starting out with Thursday, what were some things you learned about your group there in that Little Rock game? Because a game that it finishes below 60 points in college basketball, there was some good defense played by both sides.
There was. I just love our team. I just love our defense. I learned that we have to, just being honest, our guys have to be great on the things we can control all the time. We have to be in the Little Rock game, show that yet again, but almost more than the other ones. We have to have guys that are going to execute defensively every possession. They're going to execute the right thing that we want to accomplish offensively, whatever the result happens to be off of that. We've got to have guys that, have enough mental toughness to want to step to the line. Whatever happens at the line happens, but you've got to want to. It's the intent behind it, and so I thought, we always talk about players play, tough guys win, and I thought that showed again. We were the tougher team for a lot of it, but we weren't the tougher team at the end, and unfortunately came up on the wrong end of it. So, made a few adjustments going to that Saturday game against what I think is a fantastic SEMO team.
Yeah,
and I thought, I'm proud of our guys. I thought they were very tough.
Yeah.
And SEMO had a winning record coming out of non-conference play, too. They had won some crucial games. And so getting into that one now, it led by double figures at halftime against them. And then I think they got it down to 2. I know they got it down to 3 there at the last couple of moments. And then trailed by just 3 with 17 seconds left. And I probably felt like deja vu. I know we talked about it post-game with the 2 losses in conference play coming in overtime and then right at the horn against the Trojans. And what did you all do differently there? I'd say probably in the last 2 minutes to be able to say, hey, we're good. We're good. We're going to rewrite the ending, and this is going to be an ending that's good for us.
I mean, that was basically – it was just the mentality stuff. In our last time out there, we had called at that point, and then every subsequent one, and even back to the 3-minute mark, even back to the run that they made where they hit 3 straight threes with about 10 minutes to go, we just kind of looked at each other and said, hey, we're good. They're going to make that run. We're good. We need to get back to the detail, to the micro. We need to get back to our process on defense, our process of doing whatever correct rotation, guarding, whatever scouting report, do everything correctly, and then clean off with a rebound. And let's just move forward. And then whatever happens offensively happens because we've got good players, But I just thought trying to just help calm our guys, having our staff be a little bit more calm on the bench as well, I thought was a big adjustment we made from Little Rock. And, hopefully it helped our guys some. I'll tell you what, I'm proud of our guys because whatever the causation was, they definitely stepped up and made some plays.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think at the free throw line, too, that was tremendous. 19 of 21 versus SEMO versus that 17 for 25 versus Little Rock. Guys got to the line, and pointing out one guy, Philip Radakovich, gets to the line, a true freshman coach. After a lot of true freshmen in that spot, after they missed that first free throw, it's, oh, gosh, just, Lord, please help me not miss this second one.
Davis called the free throw line the loneliest place on the planet.
It is.
It is.
There's
See?
no doubt about it. It is. That is 100%
And then when it's a
correct.
technical free throw and nobody's there, I'd be like, Chrissy,
That
just
might be the
stand there.
loneliest place in the universe.
Now, there you go. In the entire galaxy.
Yes,
That's the
absolutely.
loneliest spot right there. But a lot of freshmen could have missed that first one and thought, oh, gosh, here we go. But he comes out there, drills the second one, and then defensively, and what went into that final stop there, because they've got Washington, who's a great player. They've got Martin, who took another one of those final shots, and then they secured 2 offensive rebounds. But still, I know that just hurts you
keep bringing it up, Davis.
But going out there and got the final contest, didn't let the shot get off in time, and every single time, both those threes within the time got up, there's a hand right in the face.
Yeah, I thought we did an unbelievable job defensively. Obviously, we actually just got done with a film session before we came here, and we have to clean up those boards at the end of the game. And we missed a few blockouts, we missed a few angles and distance things that we preach every single day. So that part I'm not extremely excited about, but we guarded it well. I'll tell you what, the some of the plays that our guys made. There was a play possession before that where Vlad. With Martin driving the basketball and Vlad's guarding it, and we have to have help, and he actually peels off at the perfect angle and it gets a deflection for a steal. I thought that was as much of a play of the game as his tip-in was on the baseline out of bounds. And so Vlad making that play defensively was huge. And then we stayed so sound to our principles on that last play, unfortunately for 3 times because we gave the 2 offensive rebounds. And, we're able to secure the win. Now, it'd be a little easier if we could just, be that, sound and still get the defensive rebound and not have to go through 3 shots. But
It was what it was. Still got the win at the end of the day.
And
Vlad continues to impress me with just the little things, though. I mean, this guy's got a really high basketball IQ and is a glue guy.
He's gotten so much better in those things too. And you're right, he's a glue guy for us. And it's a weird deal because he's one of our better players and also a glue guy.
Yeah,
it's nice being both of those. He always had the talent. He rebounds it really well. He can really shoot it. He can pass it. But to your point, he has just improved so much as this year has gone on. With his basketball IQ, with his ability to rotate, with his ability to do all the little things on the floor. He's become such a valuable player for us. It's really special to see.
Yeah, and it's watching his body language, his maturity. He doesn't get rattled.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. And he's actually, I know he's a grad transfer, but he's very young. He was a 21-year-old grad transfer. Okay. There's a lot of juniors that are 23 years old as juniors, and so he's a 5th-year guy. But he started college at 17. Actually, played for me a number of years ago at Eastern, and so he's just a young guy, and so he's getting more mature, and that maturity is really showing off with his just stability in these games, and just being able to be the same guy all the time throughout the whole game, whether we're up 47 against Southern Indiana or we're in a tight game against SEMO.
Yeah, well said.
And I think I haven't even pointed out one of the biggest things. Again, you said that you told us this is probably the best team in the league right now. Josue, probably under the weather, only played 5 minutes. Afon, he got injured in the Little Rock game. He only played 10. And then Mattia unable to play in that game, yet you're still able to beat a very good Southeast Missouri team. And what does it say about the depth of this group and Cortijo and A.J. Hopkins that got more minutes, and they came in and, I mean, not just offensively, but focusing in so much on the defensive details, and they lock it down, and they answered the bell.
They did. I mean, it's just such a great next man up mentality with those guys. And I do think we're very deep, which can honestly be an issue at times with the team because it's tough to distinguish your best player from your 13th best player. We're so deep. But those guys just it helped us. They just stepped up and, got to get some of those guys healthy. Not having a Fawn, I thought really hurt us, and Cortillo did a phenomenal job. But just even in addition to that, just having another guy that can really guard it, really handle the ball, really create, also score, but really create for others. We got to get him healthy. We do. Mattia coming back, obviously, now for Thursday will help quite a bit as well. And Josue's a heck of a player and can really score. So, I mean, getting those guys back will be good, but also without necessarily having to push some of those other guys down the list.
Yeah.
Those guys have earned what they've earned now.
Yeah, and I think it proved something to them.
It did. It absolutely did. It absolutely did. But like Cortillo, I mean, I know we talked about it in the post game, but I mean, Cortillo to step up the way he did and play the way he did, I mean, he's just a winner. And he made a real statement to me. Yeah. He really did. And I'm excited about his growth, going forward.
So on the road, a couple of these guys that might have not seen the snow, they're going to see a lot of it when UT Martin goes up and plays at Western Illinois, and then even at Lindenwood on Saturday too. So the Leathernecks, they lost to SIUE the end of the week with an 8-point win over Eastern Illinois, and then Marco Malatic, hope I'm saying that name right, leads the OVC in points per game right now at 17.9. And Lindenwood, they were swept on the week to EIU and SIUE, but Jadis Jones third in the conference in rebounding. And what do you see from both these teams? I think Western Illinois, I mean, their coaching staff does an excellent job. They were such a physical team last season, and then Lindenwood too, a team on the rise in a great spot in terms of recruiting. These are two quality opponents.
Oh my gosh, they are. Western Illinois was fourth in the league last year, preseason third this year. Chad does an amazing job coaching them, and they're talented. I think they're the only team to return an all-conference player in Ryan Myers. Malatic, it's funny. I recruited him a number of years ago.
Wow,
and he's
really?
a Serbian-Canadian kid,
yeah.
And we recruited him at Eastern Florida, and almost got him at Eastern, and followed the path that he followed. And now, obviously, he's now at Western Illinois. Heck of a player, outstanding player. He's older, he's mature, he can really score, he can really shoot it. They've got Ryan Myers, they got Sean Smith. They're a really, really good ball club, and obviously Lindenwood's fantastic as well. We've got to get really prepared. We got really prepared, and today is our kind of get better day, and then tomorrow we kind of turn our attention towards Lindenwood and Western Illinois.
I'm going to ask you this. I think I've asked you this earlier, but I guess you're going to walk into these gyms for the first time ever, right? And Davis and I have done that in the last couple of years because they weren't in the Ohio Valley Conference. And I love walking to a gym for the first time and knowing I'm going to broadcast. And then the things we are looking at is really basic, like where's the internet feed? Where do we sit based on this floor? Where's the bathroom? Where's the consent? As a coach walking in, you're not only getting the court and your sideline, you're getting the locker room and how to get from the locker room to the bench. What are you paying attention to as a coach when you walk into a place for the first time knowing you're going to play there?
I'm trying to make sure the goal is 10 foot high.
Okay.
Little Hoosiers reference. Yeah. Honestly, I just try to soak it all in. I mean, that's the main thing. I don't even, I don't care about the other stuff. I'm just trying to soak it all in. I think it's just cool.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Being at this level, being able to play in this amazing conference, play at these places, and then some of the places we played in non-conference, it's just cool.
It is cool.
It's just cool.
Even when I walk into a junior high gym and see that backboard, my heart just kind of flutters a little bit. I'm like, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny enough, with Lindenwood, I've actually been in Lindenwood numerous times before.
Really?
Yeah, they used to host the Jerry Mullen Junior College Top 100 camp.
Wow.
So it would have in every July. And so I've been in Lindenwood, St. Charles numerous times for my junior college All-Americans that were there.
I don't know the history, but it's an older building. It's a beautiful building.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And it's a multi-purpose facility that's got a lot going on there, but it's got an old school feel to it.
Yeah, it does. It's nice. It's nice. Never been to Western Illinois, but Lindenwood's nice. I'm sure Western Illinois is fantastic. And so excited to get there, excited for the opportunity. I mean, really are against two really good clubs.
Yeah.
And we're going to pack all of our warm clothes. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time as always.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And we'll go ahead and take a break. When we come back, Eliana Oquendo from the UT Martin Track and Field team will join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And we're back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis, Gregory, and Chris Brinkley here with you all here at Zaxby's. Happy New Year and happy holidays to everybody now joining us from the UT Martin track and field team. It is Eliana Oquendo, true freshman for the Skyhawks. Thanks so much for joining us, Eliana.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling today? I know school about to start back up. That's not fun for anybody.
No,
And
no.
also the cold because you're from Orlando.
Oh my gosh, it's been terrible. Today was my first day. Today was my first day seeing snow, and I go outside getting ready for practice, and my entire car is covered in snow. And I was like, hey, my windshield wipers aren't working. Like, this isn't coming off. I had to use a scraper to scrape. This is
Did you
different,
have a
guys.
scraper or did you have to borrow one?
I had to borrow one.
So the first time
100%.
seeing snow here or ever?
Ever.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Well, they've got this stuff I want to recommend called de-icer. It's a spray. You know what de-icer?
It's at Walmart. It's in like a yellow spray bottle. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, and
Okay.
it'll help the windshield a little bit easier.
It'll
That
clean
would
it.
be-
It'll clean it off like instantly.
That would be purchased.
And then get a scraper and a little brush, and it'll
Yeah.
make you tougher. It's good for us.
It'll make you Martin made.
And
That's
it
what it's
doesn't
about. It
last
makes you
forever.
Martin
If
made.
you don't like the weather in Tennessee, wait 4 or 5 days. It'll change.
No.
So,
Well,
We'll go back to
okay.
like 50 degrees. and-
unlike
yeah.
sunny Orlando.
Yeah.
Mm.
So sorry about that. But hey, you're up here now. So
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah, I'm stuck here. It's fine though.
It will get better. It will get better. So let's go first to back in high school. Went to Olympia High School. Talk about your time there and what you learned in your career as you kind of started to build up this track and field resume.
So I actually transferred to Olympia in 11th grade. I spent my first 2 years at a different school. I was running track there, but it was once I got to Olympia that things really started picking up for me. That is when my time just went down, and I don't know, I just had a lot more fun there, and I got so much better there, and I think I just learned to I think my coach cared more, so it made me want to care more, and I wanted to run for her, because she wanted to coach me. So it was, we went, we were giving and taking from each other. So I think it made me learn how to be a better athlete, want to be better, because I love the sport, and I just needed someone to show me that I can do it, and my love will, it'll help me get through it.
Right, and the belief. I mean,
Yes.
that's such a big thing. Right? Chris,
Yeah.
I talk just belief
Yeah.
in self is
Yeah.
a huge thing, but it's even bigger when you've got somebody that believes in
When
you.
somebody
Yeah.
believes in you more than you believe in yourself, it's
Mhm.
easier to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and you've got a great coach in Coach Lita who's done
Yeah.
that. And we talked to her at the beginning of the show. What are some things that you've kind of learned from her? I know it's only been probably a couple months that you've known her, but what are some things that you've drawn from her?
She has she's given me a lot of structure now, once I finally got here, because it was a big change. It was a big change, even from they're both really good coaches, but they're both good coaches in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
So I just learned a completely different I don't know, like I said, it's just structure. They're just so different, but they're so I like them.
They're different, but they're the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they're both effective.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's.
But
really
it makes
it.
sense.
Yeah.
It makes
Well,
sense.
it's a different blueprint going to the same destination, right?
Yeah.
Or a different way to go to a different place, yeah. Which is
Every-
good
yeah.
for you because you get to absorb all of it.
Yes. I've grown so much being with my old coach, and then I know I'm gonna grow so much being with Lita. So yeah.
And getting into this weekend at Vanderbilt, first meet of the year, what are some goals that you have set out for yourself, if you've established some here before we get the year started?
Honestly, I just want to put my training into practice. I don't know exactly how things are going to turn out because things are so different for me right now. But I just know I'm going to run what I can. I'm going to run my best. And all I really want is to give my best this weekend. So yeah.
And I think we talked to Keegan Enix, who ran cross country and was OVC freshman of the year. And we were talking to Coach Tony. I think Keegan said something like, "Oh yeah, I can't," or "I'll just try to run a 20-minute or 10K or something like that." I don't remember what it was. And Tony was like, "What are you saying? You can run a 12-minute or something like that."
Yeah.
So it's just, I guess it's kind of the same thing where it's you're probably gonna smash all the records that you have set and goals set for yourself. And Lita's still gonna be like, but you could do that times 15 and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's just funny hearing that, and then us talking to Keegan earlier. So okay, going into why UT Martin, because again, it sometimes gets a little cold here.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
being from
Well,
Orlando,
we're not North Dakota. It's
well, listen, sometimes I feel it. Sometimes I feel it. It
But
feels like it.
you guys just aren't Florida, so like everywhere is cold.
I got to
you know?
get my
See?
Tennessee native back over
Yeah,
here.
that's the thing. That's the thing.
So honestly, UT Martin was, I wouldn't say like a last resort. It wasn't a last resort. Like it was one of my top options, but for a while I was like 90% sure I was gonna go to this school back in Florida. Not gonna say their name, but like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go here. And then I came on the visit here. It was like a really last minute visit too. Like nothing was going on. It was just a regular plain visit, and I don't know, something about the visit really got me. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the atmosphere. The girls, I was my host, Morgan Mitchell and Holly, I love them so much. They're my roommates now actually. And coach, they all just made me like feel really comfortable, whereas at the other school on my visit I didn't actually meet any of the team, anyone on the team. I was kind of just with the coach, and he was just talking to me the whole time, and I was like, okay. But once I finally came here, I felt like I could be really comfortable here, and I just think it's like a really cute school.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate it, but Chris not being alum, so we appreciate that. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I have an Orlando question for you. So Orlando residents either like Disney World a lot or don't like Disney World. Where are you?
I'm not gonna lie. I've lived there my whole life. I've only been there like twice.
Really?
Yeah. But I do like it.
Okay.
I do like it. It's really fun. It's just the lines are like out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
But once you finally do get on the ride, it's great.
It's
Okay.
good. But
Yeah.
you should know like the time. Like, okay, this is when no one's gonna be here. This is when some people
There's
are gonna be here.
always people there.
Yeah, there's
like,
always people
there is
there.
no time. You just gotta thug it out for real, you know?
I love it.
Yeah, but that's
But
another
you know, I have
t-shirt.
learned,
That's
I've been
another
probably
t-shirt.
10 or 15 times, that some of the best restaurants are there. But if you're a resident, you don't think so? There are better restaurants in Orlando? Yeah. So it's more commercial, touristy?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of cool to go to Epcot and get to eat around the world.
Yeah, I think that is cool. Like they
Yeah.
really incorporated that really well. It's just like,
Yeah.
I don't
So
know
what's
if
the
it's
best?
that good.
What's the best restaurant in Orlando?
Your number one spot if you could have it here.
Yeah. Or a place you just take us to eat and it's all free. You don't even have to pay for it.
I'm not a big food person, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I don't think I have a favorite
Okay,
restaurant,
that's
guys.
fine.
Well, that's a good
Yeah,
thing. That's
like,
fine.
I
There's
kind of eat
multiple options.
everywhere. Like,
Right. Exactly.
So you're
There's
not
multiple
picky.
options.
There's got to be one food item you don't like. No,
not really.
Wow, good for you.
I like to, like, I'm not a big food person, but I'll eat, because I'll eat, like, really anything.
And you're good
really.
with onions and eggs and casseroles and
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, hey, there we go.
All
That's
right.
great. That's great. So coming up this weekend, last question for you is: you all travel to Vanderbilt, and what are some, I guess, goals, some expectations you have for yourself? I know you just said kind of go out and just try your best here, and I know we talked to Coach Lee about it being a rust buster, but what are some things that you have set out for yourself?
This weekend, I believe it's the 400 and 600 for me. I've actually never run an indoor 600, so I don't know how that's gonna be, but I know usually outside I'm around like 140-ish, and that kind of like ties into my 800. That's my best race, but I'm hoping I can be around that 140 mark again. Like, I'm not expecting to come in like, you know, blazing and like
Right.
PR, you know, but I mean, there's a chance. I've been training. The training's hard. So, yeah, like 140-ish. That's really what I'm hoping, or better. Like that's what I want to run. And then my 400, I've only run that once indoor. I'm not a big fan of indoor, but I'm hoping for that 60, sub 60, because I really wish the 400 was my race. Like, and I want to make it my race. So I was hoping for like 60, sub 60. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for your time. Good luck here this weekend.
Thank you, guys.
We'll go ahead and take a break. When we come back, assistant coach of the UT Martin women's basketball team, Garner Small, will join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And welcome back to Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory here with Chris Brinkley. Final guest of the show, UT Martin women's basketball assistant coach at Garner Small and former Skyhawk of Forest. Also helped out with the men's basketball team. So good to have you back home here the past couple of years. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Seems like it was just yesterday, but it definitely wasn't.
What do you remember about those days?
Oh, man, we had some tough teams back then. The women were coming off, when I first got here, they were coming off 4 straight NCAA tournament appearances. The men's team was not doing well. And so I was here with head coach Heath Schroyer his first year. And I think in 2 years we won 43 games. I mean, it was a lot of work, but the guys really bought in. The staff was bought in. And like I said, it wasn't easy. But
So John Aiken was here then too, right? So he's back. So you were with him then?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So he was here. Both years. Yep.
Yeah. No, those were some fun times. And then my biggest memory from that time was the CIT.
Yes.
Was going to Louisiana and then South Carolina.
Upstate. Yep.
Yep. And then
we played at Northwestern State in Louisiana. Won there. Went all the way to South Carolina upstate.
Played within 48 hours, and it was probably 800,000 miles.
We played. I'm going to make it. We played on Thursday, Northwestern State. Saturday was South Carolina upstate.
Yep.
And then ended up losing in the semifinals to Evansville Evansville, I think.
Yeah.
Who ended up winning. It had a great team that year.
And the part I still don't understand about it, and then I'll shut up, is it was bracketless. It was a bracketless tournament. You didn't know where you were going. So when we were in Louisiana, if we won, we had no idea where we were going next.
Yep.
So we were up pretty early because we had a guy who just went crazy from three-point range in the first half. Hell, hit 11 threes like in the game. They're like, yeah, we're going somewhere, but we don't know where we're going. And I don't even know if you guys knew in the locker room after that.
No, it was a little bit wild. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever been a part of because all of a sudden we're like, all right, well, we'll let you know.
Yeah, and then you got to make travel plans, food plans, hotel plans, and you really have no idea. You just know within 36 hours you're going to be somewhere playing basketball. Yeah. And then once that happened, I thought, well, there's no way we can win because we're not prepared. Oh, we did.
Yeah. I mean, luckily Spartanburg has a little bit there because otherwise, I mean, imagine 36 hours and you're going to a smaller town with one hotel. How are you going to get enough rooms? You know, it was a weird. Yeah, wild, but it's a good time.
Yeah. And I guess you learned a lot about coaching and basketball in that area.
Yeah. Being in that Gardner Webb there for 4 years. I mean, they were about 45 minutes down the road, so it's funny to go there once and then be back there again. So it was pretty good. So,
what are some things have changed here about UT Martin since
a good
the time you were here as a GA and then now as
a
coach?
As a GA, you don't really have any idea. Anything. People are nice to you because you're just a GA. Like, oh yeah, you're overworked and underpaid. One of those things. And so everybody's super nice to you, and they still are. But I mean, we've done a great job of trying to update all the facilities. I mean, the men's locker room got redone in baseball, and try everything getting turfed and everything. I mean, so they've been doing a great job. But I mean, I feel like everything is just still competitive. Volleyball has been on a run. Football's been on a run. Like. Not that they weren't 10 years ago, but I don't truly know how good football was or, volleyball or baseball. Now it seems like every year we have sports competing for championships. And so I think that's super important.
To piggyback on that, I think we get more respect around the league.
Yeah.
And it's because of that.
Yeah. And I was, I guess, probably a little jaded when I came in because the men's basketball program wasn't very good. And so everybody's like, oh, it's Martin. So whatever we did above and beyond, I think they won 9 games the year before I got here. So anything above and beyond that, you're overachieving huge, right? Yeah. Well, for us, it was still like in my 2 years, it was never good enough. It seemed like, from our staff standpoint, it's like, no, 18 wins is not enough. We need 20, And so, like I said, that was, and I feel like now that's both sides in every sport. Is like, this is where we expect to be. This is the championship caliber programs that we want to be running and competing with. So I think that would probably be the biggest difference. Like I said,
and the OVC has changed.
And that has changed a lot because, Eastern Kentucky was in here, Jacksonville State, Belmont, Murray State, Austin P. So when I was 10 years ago, those were the top because back then it was East and West. So on the West, we had us. We had Murray State. SEMO was really good. And on the East, you had Morehead, Kentucky, Belmont. I mean, I would say it was probably a little top to bottom was a little bit tougher overall. Not that, on the men's side anyway, the men's side, because Morehead State. I mean, you're talking about some guys like Kenneth Reed
yeah.
playing over
Yeah,
there.
Kenneth
Murray State, you're talking about Cameron Payne, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it was pretty crazy. Which
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough now, but
Yeah, going back to let's go all the way back to high school. So
Oh,
you played
goodness.
for your
Jeez.
dad. That was quite the
Yeah.
jump. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
So,
We have a photo. No.
so back in high school, you played for your dad.
Yeah.
In high school, you're also a four-sport athlete. But
Oh,
what
I
was it
didn't know
like?
that.
Yeah.
What were the 4 sports?
I played basketball, baseball, football, and I also ran a little bit, high jumped in track.
Position in football?
Quarterback,
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Position in baseball?
pitcher.
Okay, I felt
So
that.
I could throw it really hard.
90s?
Mid 80s. So
Okay.
the last time I was officially clocked was like the 7th inning of my junior year. Towards the end of the season, I was hitting like 86-ish. Don't know senior year, but baseball was my best sport, but basketball is my love. So
How's your shoulder and elbow now after all that?
pretty
Good?
fine.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I could probably go out there and touch 45 maybe.
We'll get Coach Jenkins on the phone and get you over there and just test
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah, but yeah, played for my dad.
Was that in basketball?
Yeah, just in
Okay.
basketball. Some fun times, some not a lot of fun times. Like, yeah, everybody thinks like being a coach, oh, you get it so easy. Like, guys, this is 24/7. I wake up, he's saying stuff. I come home, he's saying stuff. We go to the game, he's saying, you know what I mean? Like,
You're right.
it's a lot of responsibility, but it's helped shape me to the person I am today, part of the coach I am today. Because obviously you pick up bits and pieces from everybody and everywhere that you are. But I mean, when your dad is the coach of the sport that you coach, I mean, I take most of what I have from him, honestly. And when he's as successful as he has been, I mean, it's hard not to. So
Yeah. So you grew up in it.
yeah. I mean, I was 2 years old, roughly, maybe 3, at his practice. Took all the balls out of the ball back. Was riding around like I was Fred Flintstone. Tipped it over. Got a scar with my, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, my boys have been kind of the same way. Grow up in the gym, and I think it's the best way to go. So,
Did you know back then you were going to be you wanted to be a basketball coach, or when did that develop?
kind of once I got into college, I really wanted to go into physical therapy, but kind of sports related. And once I kind of got into college, I was like, well, maybe I just kind of want to coach. You know, I was like, so I'll go into education so I could be a high school teacher, coach. Don't, low emphasis on the teacher part, but coaching part high. And after that, I was just kind of like, I think it was probably my junior year. And I was just like, why don't I just do this full time? Like, I'm going to shoot for that. And so you don't get into college coaching without some lucky breaks. And so I was kind of like a volunteer GA at Western Michigan. And then, when I came here is because the GA that was originally here for Coach Schroyer left to take like a D-League job, something like that. And Coach Stu was good friends with a guy down at, I think, Alabama Huntsville, and my buddy was his GA. And so they were talking like, hey, do you guys know anybody who's a GA? And my buddy who I played in junior college with was like, Garner, call him.
Wow.
I got a call. I was in math class. And my buddy texted me. He's like, hey, they're about to call you with this job. I'm like, UT Martin? What's UT Martin? So I'm quick like, okay, I got like, and sure enough, 5 minutes later, I get a call from Coach Stu. So I walk out, and we talked for probably 30 minutes or so, walk back into class, immediately get a call from Coach Schroyer.
Wow.
So I missed my entire elementary education math class. Luckily, we're in the first like month of school. I'd hardly know any of these kids. And luckily some girl was just like, here's your bag, because I was out in the hallway and, just trying to give, coaches my ultimate attention that I could. But also I'm like, first of all, this class was hard. I don't even know what was going on in it. I'm kind of glad I had to drop out and come down here. But
What month was the call?
I want to say it was the end of September.
So then you were here when?
So I talked to Coach Stu and Coach Schroyer on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Talked to my parents on Wednesday. Coach Schroyer was like, hey, we want you. It's your job. Like, do you want it? And I was like, yeah. Well, first I asked, like, can I come down and see campus? He's like, honestly, we don't really have time for that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, when do you need me? He goes, Sunday. I was like, okay. So I moved down here in my car, and I had about 4 days, and I got down here, and it was
I have
wild.
heard a man recently told me there are 5 opportunities in everyone's life where you get to reinvent yourself, and it's your choice.
Yeah.
And you made that choice on that phone call that day.
It was, it was one of those things, perfect time. Like I said, luck. I was single, had really just graduated, so I was in classes at Western Michigan, but I was going back to get my elementary education. So then the whole teaching, coaching thing, so it just happened to be the perfect storm. Like, who looks for a GA at the end of September? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for my buddy, and I talked to him spotty, like we played 1 year junior college together, and for him to be, oh, Garner's your guy, like that meant a lot. And no, again, it was just a coincidence. It was lucky. It was, I mean, that's how it kind of works in this world. Sometimes you got to get in there, and then from there on, it was, you got to prove what you're worth and, bust your butt. And
here we are.
And here we are.
And here we are. So it came back to UT Martin for the assistant coach job with Coach McMillan after 4 seasons at Gardner Webb.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, your wife was the manager
Yes.
for Coach McMillan
Yes.
back in 2012 to 15.
Yes.
So when did you all meet? Where does that play into the
So
story?
it was not as – she's going to hate me. I hope she doesn't ever watch this. But when we first moved here, I was like, oh, she's cute. I like, okay. But I was like, look, in my mind, I was like, 2 years in, I'm out. We're gonna win games. I'm going to get me another job. I don't care about anything else. So for the longest time, I never talked to her. I just moved from Michigan for this, 8 hours in a car, whatever I could fit. And so I was like, all right, I'm not focused on it. Well, then we're in conference play, and we had the little ball buddy system going on. And I was in charge of finding the kids to be the ball buddies. And we had just we were playing terrible. I think we were playing home versus like SIUE, something like that. And Chandler Rowe ends up getting like a big board and a rebound or something to put us up by 4 to basically win the game. And so we're down by the bleachers, and we're all hyped up, and yeah, man, we needed that. And she comes up and she's like, hey, I have some ball buddies for you. I was like, okay, like send me an email. And she was like, that's not how I said it, apparently, Rich. I was like, yeah, just shoot me an email. I got it. And she said I was so rude to her.
Oh.
Well, I guess my subconscious was like, so I shot her a message on, I think it was Facebook or something. And I was like, sorry, what are their names? Because again, I'm a very competitive person. So again, when we're losing to a team we shouldn't be losing to, we come back and win, I'm all fired up. And basically that was in her last year here. So we started dating in probably like mid-February into February. And of course she's graduating a month later, which luckily she got a job in Jackson, and her parents were living in Chester County at the time. So we were able to make it work. But yeah, it was, she says I was not,
That's
I
hilarious.
was rude at first.
I love that part of your marriage origin story contains a Chandler Rowe rebound.
I'm telling you, it was, I can't remember the exact details
I
of
love
it,
that
but
part.
Chandler Rowe, he had like 4 points in the last 20, what I mean? He did something, and I remember it was
and his
like
grandfather was probably in the stands.
Probably, yeah. Talk about a competitor, though. That kid would do anything to win a game.
Gosh,
so.
that's
So-
one of the all-time stories shared on this
we're
podcast.
We're not even going to get to talk about women's basketball. But back then, did you talk to Coach McMillan? I mean,
Here and there, kind of like the opposite sport thing, because obviously you got some in common, like, hey, coach, how's practice going, type of stuff. But didn't. Not a ton, to be honest, really. The majority of it was, Coach Jazz, even back to, Coach Lillard. So it was not a whole lot. Like me as a GA, I tried to know my place. Like most head coaches aren't going to bother with a GA. Now, some, he is one of those.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm staying like, hey, coach, how you doing? Practice going all right? Good win. Little stuff.
yeah.
And so basically, though, he held my wife in such high regard that when it was when I was trying to transition to the women's side, there's a mutual connection, and he just straight up told me, he's like, look, if he was good enough to marry Bailey, then
that's
you
right.
should take
That's
a
it.
shot. And so that was
You've really just fallen into all of this.
yeah.
All of this with a Chandler Rowe rebound.
Yeah,
Chandler
I
Rowe
promise.
points.
Yeah, part of it
I hope
I would
you
not
sent
be.
Chandler Rowe a Christmas card.
Yeah, we need to start. I want to do the awkward Christmas cards, where they take like the old J.C. Penney pictures. And
Yes.
like, I want to start doing that. But
I
anyways,
love
that's
that.
a side story.
Oh,
but
I like
yeah,
that.
so
Your wife might not like that, but the
Yeah.
boys would love it.
yeah, my wife is part of the reason, one of the biggest reasons why I'm here today and coaching on the women's side, because of that connection with, Coach Insill and Coach McMillan now, who are, he's at middle. So that was how it got on the women's side.
Gotcha.
Again, I'm
That's
telling, it's luck, it's chance, it's working as hard as you can when you get those opportunities,
Well,
because that's how I got to Gardner
great.
Webb.
What is it? Luck is when opportunity meets.
Preparation.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So after Martin, I left and went to junior college in Texas, and we were 12 hours from here. I was 16 from my, so we knew we needed to get back closer. And so I was applying, honestly, for men's jobs, women's jobs, whatever. And that connection between Coach McMillan and Coach Ince, who was at Ole Miss, they had a video spot open. And so I was like, well, I can do that. I've been doing that for 3-4 years. And so that's that connection. And then from there, it was just, like I said, just doing everything I knew how to do and capable of and helping those, And
Now,
so
basketball is basketball, but what's the difference between coaching women's basketball and men's basketball?
There
at this
isn't
level?
one. There
Okay.
not one.
Yeah.
Honestly, and people ask me that all the time. What's the biggest difference? There really isn't one. I mean, we're not throwing down dunks and stuff like that, but obviously there are girls that can.
Yeah.
But you're not. I mean, we're drawing up alley-oop plays for people, and we're pressing full court, and we're running ball screens and stuff. You tell me what's different.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're seeing now women's basketball more popular than it's been in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
Particularly at the professional level.
And I think part of that is because people have finally started to realize, like, it's not really
the same
different.
sport.
It's the same
Yeah.
sport,
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I would say for the most part, the women's game is a little bit more execution based. Again, a small scale. Like, it's not like, oh, the guys don't. I think we take a little bit more priority in the execution, just because you don't have too many girls out there that are going to be Ja Morant style in college and able to just do whatever they want and get to certain spots. And now, again, Juju Watkins and Hannah Hidalgo's and Paige Beck, like, they are out there. Don't get me wrong, but I think that would maybe be the one small difference is I think we probably put a little bit more emphasis on execution because you're playing below the rim.
Well, actually, with the popularity of threes and what happened in the NBA with Curry, men's basketball has almost become more like women's basketball, not the other way around.
It has.
Yeah, where the emphasis has been on the execution and the screening and the getting the open threes because of analytics.
You're right. Nobody shoots the mid-range anymore. It's all layups or threes,
Except for Kinley.
Except for
Yeah,
Kinley.
except for Kinley.
Except for UT Martin women's basketball. We love a good pull-up jumper.
Stick the fundamentals.
We love a good pull-up jumper. Nora Clark, Kinley.
Yeah.
We love a good pull-up jumper.
Nora
so.
baseline jumper and the Kinley curl play at the free throw line. That's UT Martin women's basketball to a T.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, we do love a good pull-up jumper.
Getting into, I guess, now this season. So, Little Rock, that was a tough loss on Thursday, but then rallied to beat SEMO in a huge fourth quarter there with 30 points. What was the mindset for you all's group after that Little Rock game?
To be quite honest, it was a restart, refresh. We needed to reevaluate from top to bottom what we're doing as a staff, what we're doing as a program, what we're doing as individuals and teammates, and really just trying to strip it down to the basics and be the best that we can be with no biases, no agendas. And I think that's still a work in progress. I mean, I think it always is going to be. But just fighting for each other is probably the biggest lesson that we came out with. I thought, I think that we're a pretty close team, but I think there's always room for improvement, and really taking care of each other comes to a whole nother level at times too. So.
And then that SEMO game, what led to that big fourth quarter? Because it was a single-digit game heading into that final frame, and then you have Shea and Anea combining for 43, Kinley with 15 too. So, I mean, everything just looked like it clicked together in that fourth quarter.
I thought we were playing well together. We were happy for each other. I mean, Max said it earlier. There's one where I think Kinley had a shot on the three. Shea was in the corner. She pass faked it. The defender went with Shea. She shoots the three. And Shea was just as excited for Kinley as if she had just hit the three. They're slapping hands. Now, I think we gave up a layup on the other side to get back. Or at least an entry or something. But that type of stuff, I think, is where we ultimately want to be, where we're just as excited for our teammate to score, to get that opportunity as if it was myself. And so I think, like I said, I hope that we turn the corner a little bit in terms of that selflessness with that. So I thought we saw it a little bit, especially in that fourth quarter. I thought they were really having fun, playing hard, and winning is fun. Playing hard is fun, but it's got to be something that's brought for 40 minutes.
Right,
so.
for the full game. Yep. And this week, two opponents that are good. Lindenwood's 3-1, playing them on Saturday. And then Western Illinois, they've got the reigning freshman of the year, player who's leading the league in scoring, and Reagan McCowan. So going into this week, in the OVC, it doesn't get easier. It never gets easier. There's never an easy night. So as you all approach this week, what are you all looking at?
Same thing. Again, they are. Western Illinois is just as good as anybody in the conference. Lindenwood is as good as anybody in the conference. They're both going to be two of the top best teams in the conference. But I think we, again, need to still look internal. I think we are good enough to play with anybody in the conference, but when we're not bringing it for 40 minutes, we're not. So for us to bring it for 40 minutes, we can compete with anybody. I think that's where it's going to start for us, as opposed to schematically and what they do as a system and who we're playing. I think it's going to start with us, and we need to be locked in, playing selfless basketball, playing for each other for 40 minutes. And also we're going to have to take away, McCowan on Thursday. They got good shooters. They got good post play. Then go to Lindenwood, who plays a tough style as well. I mean, it's going to be a tough week for sure.
And early on in this conference schedule, too. Well, we wish you nothing but the best of the luck. Thank you for the backstory and everything. This was a great.
This was good.
You might be a top 5 guest we've ever had on the show.
Right.
Look at that. Coming up at the UTMEs, we should do that. We should do a guest of the year. Guest of the year on the UTMEs.
There you go. Yeah.
That's what we should do. Exactly. Well, Garner, thanks so much for your time. Good luck here this week.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We'll go ahead and take a break and keep it right here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And that'll do it for our first episode of 2025 here on Skyhawk Sports Talk here at Zaxby's in Morton, Tennessee. Always big thanks to them for hosting us and all our student athletes and coaches. Track and field getting started this week. Men's and women's basketball. I mean, I think you're going to see two of probably the most competitive games of the season this week against Western Illinois and Lindenwood on both sides, men's and women's.
I agree. All of the games will be on the Skyhawk Radio Network. You can watch them on ESPN+. Follow the Skyhawks at utmsports.com and on all the social media outlets.
Yes, it's going to be a great time. Over Chris Brinkley and myself, Davis Gregory, all of our coaches and our great staff here today at Zaxby's, we say God bless and signing off here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.